Hey everyone, today I'm studying Psalm number 26 in my Psalm book. And first, the overview. This psalm describes how King David strengthens himself with prayer and piety before God because he envies those who are his spiritual superiors, saying, "If only I were on their level of piety and virtue." So this is an interesting concept. One of the only times that we are allowed to be envious or jealous of somebody else is with regards to spirituality. So when we see somebody who is on a higher spiritual level than we are, they're more righteous, it should inspire us and motivate us to become more like that. Otherwise, we're not supposed to be jealous or envious of anybody. Today I want to focus on verse 11, and it's so interesting how every single version or translation of the Psalms, of any scripture really, has so many different variations. One line with 3 words can be translated so differently. So I'm going to start with the Hebrew, and I'm going to show you 3 different translations. They all kind of capture the same essence, but they're worded very differently, and words do matter. Okay, so the line in Hebrew is Ve'ani betumi elecha. And in my book, it's translated as for me, I walk in my innocence. Okay, so now I'm going to break down each word. Ve'ani, and I, betumi, in my innocence. Elecha means to you. So and I in my innocence to you. As for me, I walk in my innocence. Now I'm going to read to you the looking at Bible Gateway website. So from the New American Standard Bible 1995 edition, they translate it as, "But as for me, I shall walk in my integrity." So betumi is translated as in my integrity versus in my innocence. Those words have slightly different meanings. And then the New International Version has another different translation, and it says, "I lead a blameless life." So you can see that there's a lot of variation in the translation of the scripture, and that's why ideally it's good to read it in the original Hebrew whenever possible. Now regarding this verse, what innocence is he speaking of? So the commentary talks about Abraham's innocence. So I'm going to read a couple of short paragraphs about that. Walking with innocence also suggests an unquestioning faith in God. As the Talmud relates, when Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac, that was Abraham's 10th and final test or trial. He was confronted by Satan, who attempted to dissuade him from following God's command. Satan said, "Should the one who loves you have tested you with something that will debilitate you and eliminate your progeny?" Now, I think that this statement is huge because it's telling us so much. Eliminate your progeny. We know that Abraham had 2 sons, Ishmael and Isaac, but God only asked him to bind 1 son. So if he ended up going through with it and failing the test, which we know that he didn't, Abraham would have still had another son. Ishmael would have been surviving. So why does Satan say that God would debilitate Abraham and eliminate his progeny? This is because, just like previously, a couple weeks ago in Genesis, we read on the weekly Bible portion that during the test of the binding of Isaac, God said to Abraham, "Take your son." And Abraham said, "Which one? I have 2. And God said, "Your only son." And so God said, "Ishmael or Isaac?" And so God said, "The one you love." And Abraham said, "I love both of them." And then God said, "Isaac." So there could be no confusion. God told Abraham that his lineage, his progeny, his successor would be Isaac and not Ishmael. And that is why Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are the three forefathers of the Jewish people, whereas Ishmael is the father of the Ishmaelites, or the Arab people, the Muslim people. So to me, it was so interesting and insightful that even Satan says that Isaac is essentially Abraham's only progeny. Okay, so Satan continues. You have brought so many to him, meaning so many people Abraham brought closer to God, because Abraham was the first monotheist. He was the first person to believe in one God. At the time, they believed in idols and they worshipped many gods: the God of the sun, the God of the moon, the God of the ocean, the God of fire, the God of healing, the God of earth, or whatever, all the different types of deities. So Abraham was the only one at the time saying, no, God is one. There's one God. It's the God of everything. So so Satan continues, and now he comes to debilitate you and confound you. He's trying to trip Abraham up, saying like God's like tripping you up. He's like twisting things or deceiving him. Like that's the way of Satan. Satan is a deceiver. So Abraham responds to Satan, as for me, I walk in my innocence, meaning I will fulfill God's request without questioning it. So true faith is taking a leap without like understanding or knowing where the next step will be or what will come next. Once Satan saw that Abraham would not listen to him, he said, I heard that the lamb will be for a burnt offering, and Isaac will not be for a burnt offering. To which Abraham responded, such is the price paid by the liar. Even when he speaks the truth, one does not listen to him. So that's like what we call crying wolf, right? When somebody cries wolf so many times, we end up not believing him. So the Satan says that a lamb will be offered instead of Isaac, which actually a ram, not a lamb, is what ended up being a burnt offering instead of Isaac. And that is why during Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, we blow the ram's horn, the shofar, as a symbol of forgiveness and atonement. And atonement means at one-ment. So we become one with God as we are forgiven. So that's what I want to share from today. The take-home message is not to be jealous of or envious of anyone except for those who are on a higher spiritual level than you, but to use that envy as inspiration and motivation to keep climbing higher and higher on the spiritual ladder. It goes infinitely. So thank you for watching. God bless you and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.